Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a sketchbook tour for you. This is featuring my Inktober art from 2018, as well as some other bits and pieces. If you don't know what Inktober is, it is a daily drawing challenge that happens every October and it is a ton of fun. I've heard some people say it gets a little bit stressful or you can get into the comparison trap because of the social media element to it, but I think if you're really chill about it, it's really chill. And overall, I would highly recommend it for getting you into the daily discipline of drawing. Today, I'll be showing you my output from last year's challenge. Some of the things I like, some of the things I love, and some of the things, it's a sketchbook. It's made for weird non-masterpieces. And if you're expecting masterpieces on every page, just know you will be disappointed. For me, that's just not what my sketchbook is for. So with that in mind, let's get started with the tour. This was a $5 sketchbook on clearance. I loved this sketchbook so much. It's a great size, it has a great flexible cover, but it's sturdy, great closure, great paper. Ugh, I can't believe that this was being discontinued and was on clearance. So I started this on 16th of September 2018. I put the official prompt list in the front of my book because I knew that I was going to use this sketchbook for Inktober. There's some bits at the beginning that aren't Inktober and some bits at the end that aren't Inktober, and Inktober in the middle. So I have some sketches at the beginning. I forgot to bring my sketchbook along to a lecture I went to. So these were just some ballpoint pen pictures that I did in my lecture. I promise I was listening, but I like to listen and draw. And then I came home and I just added some color. This I also drew in my lecture. This was one of the presenters. He was fantastic and had really dynamic body postures, which I feel like I captured pretty well. This was a girl that was sitting near me. I hope she didn't mind that I drew her. I was illustrating a children's book at the time of this sketchbook, so this was kind of like an early concept for the children's book, which I can show you a little bit more of later. This was one of my ideas for one of the first prompts, poisonous. The anatomy was really off, but I mean, you have to do lots of bad pictures before you get a good one sometimes. These were some little Posca pictures that I stuck in, and this is one more ballpoint pen picture from that lecture. Then here I'm thumbnailing some early ideas for Inktober. I was so excited to get started that I just started by doing some ideas early on. Then this is day one. Poisonous was the prompt. You can see I did a few different layers of sketches. I did kind of this purpley pink color and then put blue on top and then did another layer in pen in order to finally get this. I think I'm pretty happy with this. And the concept is gossip and how gossip can be poisonous. This was day two, Tranquil. I really like how this one came out. I think she looks really relaxed. It's really different from my style, but that's part of what Inktober is doing lots of things and experimenting. Of course, the ink went through, so I just put in a couple of post-it notes on here, and then I have a little thumbnail here for day three, Roasted. So this is some coffee cups and holding hands. And this is the final piece. So I do that quite a lot, where I do kind of a couple of layers of sketches before doing a clean version. Here are some coffee beans. That was going to be my other option for this day, but I like that I did this one. This is day four, Spell. I just did the thumbnail on a post-it note, kept that, and then this is how the final one turned out. This is again really different from my usual drawing style. I was using inspiration from Peter Draws here on YouTube. He does these amazing doodle arts that I love. This wasn't a great representation of his awesome work, but one of my friends said that this was one of her favorites, so that was nice, and you never know what's going to speak to different people. Oh, this is the day that I almost missed because I was going out to a restaurant and someone just happened to have a piece of paper in their bag, so I could quickly do the prompt, which was day 5, chicken. So this is a chicken who is too chicken to cross the road, so it's a chicken. Bit silly. This was my friend's dog for day 6 drooling. She has a beagle who the whole time that you're eating just sits and watches you while you eat, and it's very sad. And then this is just some Posca markers in the background. This is day 7, exhausted. So I have my sketch here and then my final ink drawing. It was nice to do this one in brown ink instead, and my lovely husband was the model for me. And this is some non-Inktober stuff. This is just a really quick thumbnail sketch that then I stuck some writing in to be a shirt. Kind of like how that turned out. This is just a random Posca drawing. Another random one using the same idea as this piece. This one's okay, I prefer this one though. This was day 8, star. So in Australia we call these star jumps, but I have since learned that in other places they're called jumping jacks. But the prompt was star, and so I did a star jump. Oh, I didn't like this one. This was day 9, precious. I think my sketch was really cute, but then it didn't translate when I did the ink drawing, and you can see this is one of the only pages that I cut out of my sketchbook because I did this one and it just looked so weird that then I had to I tried to do a repeat. It never ended up as good as my original sketch though, so I am still very much learning how to draw kids. This is day 10, flowing. I like how I did a few random, I think I did this at work on my lunch break, a few random ideas. So flowing water, flowing fabric, someone in a workflow, so it changes from daytime to nighttime, and I don't know what this was. It's fun to see my thought process and then which one I went with. This is day 11, cruel. Again, I did my little sketch on some post-it notes, put 2 together when I realised I was going to run out of room. This one looks, I like how I captured how sad this one is. Little girl sitting in a cupboard. Day 12, whale. So originally my post-it note sketch was going to just be a whale tail. I ended up doing a continuous line drawing. I think I was actually away overnight for this one, so I understand why I did something a little bit simpler. But that's how you do Inktober, is sometimes you do some more complex ones when you have the time, and then on days where you don't have the time, do something simpler, but you just get it done. This is day 13, guarded. I really like this one because I did a little bit of research about guard animals and found out that alpacas and donkeys are really good guard animals for heads of sheep. I thought this was really, really cute, and I enjoyed learning a little bit about guard animals. This was day 14, clock. So we have some more literal interpretations of clock here. A very, very light sketch that I bet you can't really see. And then the one that I ended up doing, which was a girl running on the face of a clock, as if running out of time. And I really like this one. I think this one, I like the framing of it. Then we have day 15, week. Again, I have my post-it note sketch. The anatomy didn't look right, so I ended up folding it kind of together to make the body shorter to see if that helped. I really like how this one came out. I like the framing. It looks like a complete piece, the way that it's framed in that square. This is day 16, angular. This is one of my favorite ones. This one took so long though. This was probably one of my most detailed, longest pieces. So I did a bunch of sketching of some houses, and then did this angular road, and then did all of these detailed houses up the road. This took a really long time, but I'm so happy with how it turned out, and the framing again I like. Day 17 was swollen. So here's my initial sketch, and then I refined that with another sketch, and then this is my final. So this one I just thought I would include all of the things that I could think of that could be swollen. So there is a swollen pie, a swollen pregnant belly, swollen pile of laundry, some swollen feet, swollen book that's gotten wet, and a guy that is pretty swole. This is day 18, bottle. So I did just a sketch of a bottle, and then a wave kind of inside the bottle crashing over a turtle. I like how this one turned out. Another one that I almost didn't get done, day 19, Scorched. I almost didn't get this one done. I like how it turned out, again with the brown marker as for something different. Didn't have a lot of inspiration for this one, but just got it done anyway. Day 20 was Breakable, so I have a few little sketches here of someone like reaching out to shake someone's hand with their fingers crossed behind their back. That turned out to be too complicated, so I ended it up just doing someone crossing their fingers to symbolize that they're lying, so like your word is breakable. That was my interpretation of the prompt. I like how throughout I didn't always do maybe the most obvious idea from the prompt, but I tried to interpret it in a way that was interesting to me anyway. And I like this sketch at the bottom here. Day 21 was Drain. So this is just some water draining out of the bathtub. This is my least favorite probably from the whole of Inktober. This was day 22, Expensive. I'm glad that I tried to do something different, push myself outside of my comfort zone, but I really don't like how this turned out. I think I used a dip pen and some colored inks. Super inexperienced with it, and I don't like how the hand came out or the jewels came out, or yeah, I'm not happy with this. But it's fine, you've got to have some of these in your sketchbook to show that you're, I don't know, pushing yourself and trying new things. This is day 23, Muddy, so I decided to do a mud mask. So here's my sketch, and then here's just some splashes of mud round in a circle, and then a girl with a kind of mud mask on her face. I like how I framed this. This is another one that I'm not super happy with. There aren't too many, but this was day 24, Chop. I wanted to do someone kind of thinking about changing their hair and then looking in the mirror and looking really happy with their new haircut. I rushed it. I didn't have enough time to really do this properly, so I was really unhappy with it. I wrote up here, ew. And then I think I did in January this year, I tried to do a redo of this. Still not great. Yeah, it is what it is. Oh, I like this one. Day 25, I decided to do a repeat pattern of a few different prickly things. Day 25, the prompt was prickly. So I did a prickly cactus, a prickly mace, a prickly hedgehog, and a fork. And then I cut it up so that then it was a repeat pattern on the page, which I thought turned out pretty cute. Day 26, I actually did 2 drawings. Started this one, wasn't happy with it, but I came back and finished this, it looks like in January. So I started this idea of wanting to stretch out some Play-Doh, but then ended up abandoning that and doing stretching cats instead. So this was day 26, stretch. Cute cats, can't go wrong, right? Day 27 was Thunder. So this is someone in a thundery mood. Again, not a straightforward interpretation, but it was more fun to do it that way for me. And then this is me just doing some scribbles, figuring out repeat patterns and dropped repeat patterns, I think when I was doing that other pattern. This is weirdly placed on the page, but I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. Day 28 was Gift. So I had some more literal sketches about gift over here, but I ended up doing this really weird brain picture of, it's just a brain in space. I guess my thought was the biggest gift that we have is our brain and our thoughts and our soul, who we are. So this was just my interpretation of, a very open interpretation of the prompt gift. Day 29 was Double. So I did some things that come in pairs, just some little sketches over here. I started down here thinking maybe I would fill up the page, but this was all I had time for, and I'm happy with that. This was just a random piece of, I think it was a gift bag that I really liked the colors on, so I just stuck it in as inspiration for maybe a future project. Day 30 was Jolt. So this was someone answering the phone, getting some bad news, and kind of the jolt associated with that. A bit of open interpretation again. And then last one was day 31, slice. So this is looking from inside the cake as a piece of cake is being taken out, and I've got some really rough sketches for that. So that is all of my Inktober pieces, but I'll show you kind of through the rest of this book quickly. These are some Australian animals that I did for a year project for work. These are some of the pictures that I was doing for my children's book. I can show you kind of what this ended up being quickly. So this pencil down here turned into this watercolor pencil here, and then this girl here ended up being this girl writing for the children's book. Then we have some more sketches for that, some more sketches for the children's book. This was taken from a reference that I googled. These are some faces. I wanted to be able to include in my children's book a range of different races and types of faces and capture that, because I realized from one of those Inktober, the precious prompt, that I wasn't very good at drawing children's faces, so I was working on that. This was a quick commission that I did for someone of their dog. Here is some sketching that I did. This is then, I think, the point where I was in the Philippines doing some volunteer work, so I have some random sketches and some people catching a ball and a hand, pretty boring page. This was a sketch of everyone on the trip sitting around and playing Uno. This is a sketch of, in the Philippines, they have all these hectic power wires over the streets and things, so that was just a quick sketch of that. Someone taking notes in church, a wolf just howling, a picture of me, how I dressed up for most of the trip, just with some markers, so this is what I basically wore for 2 weeks. This was a portrait of my lovely husband, but at first it looked really, really weird. I'll show you how it looked. So I did his chin just completely wrong, so I just stuck this post-it note over it, and I've kind of fixed it. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. Oh, this was just something I did on the plane, trying to do one of those optical illusion pictures where it looks flat but straight. It's hard to show what I'm talking about, but that was that. I was trying to make a pixel drawing of some flowers. It's a big painting that's up in my house. This was a Posca marker drawing just of some houses on a beach with a beautiful sunset. These were some desk signs. My workplace was moving, so they wanted some signs to put on their desks to say, if someone was on site, or if someone was busy, so not to disturb them, or if the desk was available for hot desking. This is just a random picture that I drew. Our family for Christmas, we all got to choose an activity to share with the group, which was pretty fun. And so I taught everyone how to do a single tone watercolor painting with just some really cheap IKEA watercolor paints. And this was mine, the one that I used as a model. And then this was, I think, my husband's one, and I thought it was just I'd never seen him paint before, so I kept it. A random picture of a mum and bub. This is where we get into some Instagram inspired art. So this one was inspired by @TomHaulgomat, probably getting that wrong, but he does these awesome paint marker, I think illustrations or gouache, and takes like a landscape or urban image and then turns it into a painting with a really limited color palette. So I did that. Thought that was really, really cool, so took inspiration from it. After a really, really busy day, I just wanted to sit in the bath and eat potato crisps. So that's what I drew. I ended up doing a painting of that. Yeah, I don't love how the face turned out, but I think the bath looks really cool, and I like the pastel colors. I had some leftover paint from another project, so I just painted this whole page pink and then used Posca markers to do this portrait. Same thing again, I had leftover paint from another project, so I painted the whole page in this beautiful blue and then used Posca markers to do these fruits on top. That was really fun. This is just some random sketching that I lined. This was a fun project where I just decided to stitch the image onto the page instead of drawing it. Then I was doing a lot of random research about value, so I used my Posca markers to figure out what the value of the different tones were to do this picture. Then I have a couple of draw this in your style challenge pictures. If you don't know what a draw this in your style challenge is, you look at someone else's art, they put it up as a hashtag draw this in your style, and then you can reinterpret it how you want. This is my version of her piece. A couple more pages. This was at Sophie McPike. This is her image. This is my draw this in your style version of it. This was at Mad Omi. This is her image. This is my version of it. It's a really fun challenge if you ever need inspiration what to do. These are just my hands like that. This was inspired by Macachino here on YouTube. She did an image like this using watercolors, but I did it with alcohol markers. Bled through, but I actually really like how it looks, the bleed through. This is a bird done with Sharpies. Permanent marker Sharpies. And then this is just a quick sketch. And then I just have a bunch of swatches. More swatches, more swatches. And then these are all my Posca marker swatches. Tucked in at the back here is just inspired by Casey Golden here on YouTube. I did an image of just my sister with her dog and a duck. I think I got the shapes okay, but I didn't nail her awesome desaturated color palette. But I mean, this was a lot of fun to try out her style. And then I've got some squiggles. And that is my whole sketchbook. I'll be doing Inktober again starting tomorrow, so if you'd like to see those images done as I complete them, and feel free to follow me on Instagram, which is @Spillera. I'll link it below. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Let's hang out again sometime soon. Bye!